Hello everybody, my name is Brian Adcock. I am your race director and also the founder of Castle Triathlon Series. This briefing is for those of you that are doing the standard Aquabike. If you're not doing the standard Aquabike, don't listen to this briefing because it's not for you. Okay, so you guys are racing on Sunday the 27th of September and it's sometime around the middle of the day. The actual times will be sent out to you fairly shortly. In terms of how we're putting the event on, obviously COVID-19 is a big part of our lives now, and we have planned the event around 5 guiding principles. So the guiding principles are athlete communication and education, of which this video is part and parcel. Secondly, around touch point reduction. So the numbers of times that you touch things that aren't your own on the event, we try to reduce to an absolute minimum, which does have some impacts to you as athletes. So just listen to the briefing and you'll understand how that works. Thirdly, density reduction. So we've got reduced numbers competing at the event this year, which will please a lot of people because it does become a busy old event, particularly in the swim. If we have large groups away, so you won't have that problem to worry about this time. Fourthly, improved hygiene, and you'll see hand sanitizers, loads of signage, additional hand wash stations, lots of cleaning going on over the course of the event. And the final part of it is athlete self-reliance, and there may be some areas of your race that we require you to go a little bit further than you otherwise might do at one of our races, because we normally provide that stuff for you. But in some instances, we're asking athletes to look after themselves, and I'll explain as we go. So those are the 5 principles. So without further ado, let me talk to you about your swim. So I'm going to share my screen now, so just bear with me a second while I flash that up. And here is the swim routes. So hopefully you can all see that. So from the other video that you should have watched in conjunction with this, you'll know effectively how you're going to get down to the start point, which is down here, and how the flow works for your arrival on the event. You're going to enter the water over this set of steps here on the left-hand side of the loggia as you look down the lake. There is a timing mat at the top of those steps, and as soon as you go over the timing mat, your time effectively starts. Please be careful on the steps as you get into the water. They're super slippy, and we don't want anyone hurting themselves as they get in. You're not allowed to dive in because it's not particularly deep here, and there will be other swimmers that are coming back round in front of the loggia as you get in the water, so there'll be an element of us timing your run into the water. To keep things flowing, we need to get 1 athlete in the water approximately every 15 seconds. So it'll be a relatively quick fire start, so have your wits about you and be ready with your goggles on your head and ready to go, and everything else you need to do as it looks like you are about to start. Your 1500 meter swim will basically go initially down the lake. You pass either side of the 100, either side of the 200 meter buoy, either side of the 300. When you get to the 400 meter buoy, you must make a left-hand turn, keeping that on your left shoulder. You'll then head directly across to a double set of buoys that are here on the water, which will allow you access to the deep channel that takes you into the river section. So make sure you pass between those 2 buoys. From the loggia, you won't be able to see those 2 buoys because the Japanese tea house, which is just there, sticks out into the water a little bit. Okay, so as you come down into the river section, the first thing you do is pass underneath a bridge here. And you can see the blue rectangles all over this map. This is a great spot for your spectator, should you have brought one, to come and watch you swim. And you will swim underneath that bridge, and then you'll pass a series of buoys that indicate another 200 meters every time you pass one as you go around the river section. Ignore the distances on these because they are for the gauntlet swim distances. So when you get to here, this is a second bridge that you pass underneath, and then you come back into the main lake section of the swim course, and you'll be swimming around the front of the loggia. Those are the steps that you started on, and then you'll exit the water over here via a boat ramp, which is made of concrete. Normally, a large fellow called Simon would pull you out of the water, but because we're trying to reduce touch points, we're going to just have a couple of railings down the side of the boat ramp this year that you can use to help pull yourself up and out of the water. Having exited the water, you then turn left and you run along a little gravelly track which will have some carpet on it. for about 50 meters before turning right on the grass here and then up into transition. And that's pretty much your swim. Safety out on the course, you will see exactly the same number of canoeists and power boats out on the water that you would normally do. The only difference will be that the power boaters will be wearing PPE, because they're the guys that end up taking people out of the water, putting them in the boat and taking them off to the side. So they're the ones that come into close proximity with people in the water. Other than that, it is a pretty standard swim, other than you're going off on an individual basis. So, so enjoy. Right, I'm going to just change maps now and show you transition. So when you run up the hill on the grass, you'll come up from this direction and you go past the deer fence and then into transition in this corner here. Normally, we just allow you to run straight back towards where your bike is. But in this instance, because we want to initiate a one-way system through transition, you've got to run down into this far right-hand corner as we look at it, and then run down the length of the rack to pick up the letter or number of your rack. We haven't decided yet quite how we're going to number them, but pick that up and then run along the rack line till you get in line with your bike, and then get yourself ready for your bike. Once you've got all your cycling kit on, you've grabbed your bike, you carry on in the same direction down the length of the racking, and then you turn left at the end, and then get down to this bottom left-hand corner, turn left again there, and then bike out is all the way over here in this corner. You'll still have to run with your bike for another 80 meters or so until you get to the mount point, which is approximately here, just in line with the scaffold bridge that we put into the event to get spectators safely over the cycle track and into the village. And then that's you out onto your cycle. You guys are doing 2 laps of a 20-kilometer course, which will give you your standard Aquabike. And the red course that you can see on here is the one that you're going to do on your cycle. You'll be following a group of signs that are yellow with cycle route on them, some small, some much larger on the big turns. And also note that there's a purple route on this map, and that is for the half iron distance, so not for you guys. So just keep your wits about you as you're climbing to the top of this first hill, because you'll be turning left, and then you may be amongst somebody who started earlier in the day that's on their second lap of their gauntlet, and they're going to turn right at the top of there. So don't blindly follow them. Make sure you know where you are on the course. So this is transition. When you exit the estate, you've got 600 meters along what's called the back drive. 3 things to watch out for. Namely, it's narrow and there's a line of cones down the middle. At the time you're leaving, there could well be people coming back onto the estate, so please be careful. It's quite narrow. And the third thing is that in front of the cottages, about 3/4 of the way along the back drive just here, are some speed bumps, and they're very large and will take you off your bike if you're not ready for them, so please be careful. Once you get out to the front entrance of the castle, you are going to do a left-hand turn here, which will take you past the church, and then you'll do immediately a right-hand turn and handrail the Henry VIII pub before heading off down to Marshall Point 2. Just a word that as soon as you come onto the public road here, the roads are not closed for this event. They are heavily marshalled, heavily signed, but that doesn't legislate for people that are just out in the countryside and bimbling around for the day, and will be a bit terrified by the sight of the large numbers of cyclists whizzing around the cycle course. So please be careful, stay into the left-hand side at all times and follow the highway code. It's a non-drafting race, and for the standard distance, that means that you must maintain a minimum distance of 10 meters between you and the cyclist in front of you, unless you're overtaking. You can overtake, but please try and keep 2 meters between you and the cyclist that you're overtaking as you go past them. Okay, so you drop down to Marshall Point 2 here, and that's the first of your traffic managed junctions. By traffic management, I mean that we've got a company called Shift Traffic Management who are all Chapter 8 qualified, which means that they can get dressed up in day-glow suits, carry a stop-go sign, and actually hold traffic for you. So 9 times out of 10, in fact 99 times out of 100, you'll get round those corners that the traffic management boys are stood on unimpeded. However, there will be the odd occasion where they've had to hold traffic for a large period of time, where they might ask you to slow down or stop. So please just listen to what they've got to say to you. Okay, from 2 you make your way uphill, up what's called the Uckfield Lane, until you get to the village of Mark Beach. This is quite a cheeky little hill, and this is the point here where gauntlet competitors, who are not you guys, will go off to the right, and you guys are following the 20k circuit, and you'll go off to the left. Okay, this is undulating along here, and then you'll come downhill past a large house called Stonewall Park and then a cricket club on the left-hand side, whereupon you'll turn left and head into this section here. This is undulating. When you get to this point here, you pass a local restaurant called Kingdom, and then you get onto the steeper section of the course, which takes you down to Marshall Point 7. We've had a couple of accidents over the years here, people going too fast and overtaking cars and all sorts of nonsense. So please just be really careful, stay into the left-hand side and manage your speed as you come down the hill. When you get to the bottom of the hill, there is a sharp left-hand turn onto a B road. You do not have right of way. It will be traffic managed, but the Gauntlet guys are coming from the south. They've got right of way over you, and there will also be traffic in the mix there as well. So there'll be a line of cones that takes you around the corner here. Stay inside the cones, and that should feed you into the roadway quite nicely. From there, you make your way in a northerly direction up into the village of Penshurst, and where it says water point here, we will not have a water point in play unless it's an extremely hot day. So please come prepared for the fact that you need to water yourself on your way around your cycle route, and you may need to have 2 bottles on your bike and a couple of gels about your person, because there won't be anything here for you. From there, you make your way due north uphill, and then when you get to the top of the hill, you're going to turn left, head downhill over the railway and into the village of Chiddingstone Causeway. This is a traffic managed junction just here, and there's a blind summit off to the right hand side here. So you need to keep your wits about you and listen to what the traffic management guys are saying. You then are on the homeward stretch. You handrail the railway line all the way down to the village of Bow Beach, which is here. Most dangerous point on the course is at 11 Alpha. It's a narrow railway bridge that you pass underneath, and cars coming in the opposite direction are invariably in the middle of the road. You're coming downhill and you've got a sharp left-hand bend, which would naturally throw you into the middle of the road as well. We have had 1 or 2 near misses here over the years. We red flag it on either side, which indicates to the motorists that there is potential danger ahead. And when you see a red flag as you come down this hill, that means that you're coming towards that bridge and you need to just moderate your speed. Okay, climb up into the village of Bow Beach. You've got about 4K to go here. You are on the other side of the railway now, and then you bear south and head down here past Hever Golf Club, and you end up back at the front entrance of Hever. You guys are doing 2 laps of this course, and so when you get back to the front entrance at Hever, don't come back onto the estate, no need to. You carry straight on and then continue around for your 2nd lap in exactly the same way as you did your 1st lap. Having completed your 2nd lap, when you get round to this point for the 2nd time, that's when you can turn left and come back down the estate road. Again, just be careful of the speed bumps and the cones down the middle of the road and potentially other people coming in the opposite direction. Dismount point is just by the scaffold bridge, and then I'll just flick back over onto the other map. When you come back into transition, you'll come back in through here, you dismount about here, and then you run with your bike all the way into this corner, and then as soon as you cross the mat, which will be back at this point of transition here, that's your time finished. You can then take it easy, just obviously keep your wits about you, because there may be other people running past you as they come up out of the swim or whatever they're doing. And then you can re-rack your bike. Now, you've got a choice at this point. If you want the finish experience, then put your trainers back on, leave your bike where it is in transition, make your way out of transition here, and the transition guys will show you how to slot into the finishing straight so that you can walk, jog, whatever you like, up the finishing straight and cross the line and get your medal and any of the finish line buffet that we'll have pre-prepared for you up there. If you don't fancy doing that, then we will have a collection of medals that you can grab from a table in transition itself, and you can have a much more low-key ceremony if that suits you. And then that is your race complete. Hopefully that answers all your questions. If you do have any other questions, then please don't hesitate to email us on either brian@castletriathlonseries.co.uk or admin@castletriathlonseries.co.uk. Thank you for listening.